So we have a question here all about changing the subject of the formula. Now remember, what that means is we want to change this formula around so that whatever variable it wants to be the subject, we have that equals. So looking at the formula here to begin with, P is the subject of the formula. As we change M, N and R, the value of P will change dependent upon those. It's the subject. When it's asking us to change the subject of the formula, our ultimate goal is to manipulate this formula so that we end up with a final line that is M equal to something. That's what it is. Now, when we are changing the subject, what we have to remember and do is look at the order we're changing things. What is affecting things overall? Because those are the things we start to move first. Once we move them, we start to whittle it down, we'll eventually get to where we want. Now the first thing to always do is swap the formula around so that we have the item we want to be the subject on the left hand side if that's possible. So I'll just rewrite the formula in this case quite simply as 1/3 mn minus r equals p. Then I start to think what the first thing I want to move is. Well, in this case, the minus r is having a big effect. It's having the last effect of everything. Because I'm going to calculate 1/3 of mn, then I'm going to take away the r. So that's going to be the first thing I move. I'm going to move that by adding r to both sides. So I'm going to end up with 1/3 mn equals p plus r. Then I'm going to look at the 1/3 mn and see what I can move now. Well, the good thing is dividing by 3 and the times by n, we're just switching them across to get the opposite. So I'm going to actually get rid of the times by 3 first so that I can get rid of the fraction. We don't like fractions, so let's see if we can move that first. If I times both sides by 3, I get that mn is equal to 3 bracket p plus r. Now don't be afraid to leave it as a bracket here. If you expand the bracket and have 3p plus 3r, yeah, there's no issue with that at all. Alright, you've no issue with that whatsoever. It means the exact same thing. We've then just got the n that we need to get rid of. So if I get rid of that by dividing both sides by n, what I'm going to end up with is that m is equal to 3 bracket p plus r all over n. So what I've now done is I've taken that formula which had p as the subject, I've rearranged it around, manipulated using my algebra techniques, and I now have m being the subject of my formula. I now have it as m equal to. So as long as we remember how to manipulate algebra and moving things from side to side, i.e. move a minus you add, move a divide you times, etc., we'll be able to do this sort of question no problem. This one here, 3 marker, first mark for moving the plus r, second mark for moving the 3, third mark for moving the n. Now the 3 and the n are interchangeable. If you chose to divide by n first, then times by 3, yeah, no issue with that whatsoever. Because of times and divide, that's perfectly fine. You'll still end up with the same answer at the end and you'll still get 3 marks. Just remember how we move and manipulate things. Just remember the order we want to move and manipulate things. And if we follow that and we follow those sets of steps, we'll manage this one no problem whatsoever, and it'll come out as being fairly easy peasy lemon squeezy.